All right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those boxes, just those undervalued, underappreciated, forgotten about, sometimes underpriced books that you can go and grab at your local comic shops. These are some books, like I said, they're not on a hot 10 list. These aren't books everybody's hunting right now. These are some oddball things that I personally find interesting, and some of the things that may be worth a little bit more than you might be aware of. And I just want to bring some attention to a couple of interesting comics. With that said, I do have another special for you. I know I've been mixing in these special episodes here and there because, well, I got a lot of content and a lot of ideas, and I don't know where to put it all. So this is going to be another one, much like last week where I did Last to Know, where this is going to be Hidden Gems presents Interlocking Cover Lover because, well, I do love those connecting interlocking covers, those puzzle piece covers. So let's see what I got for you this week, because this week I have a very special theme for you. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you're enjoying everything here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. We are almost at 2,600 subs already, well on our way to 3K, and I'll probably do another giveaway once we hit that minor milestone. But before we get there, let me run down some pretty cool Star Wars connecting covers for you. So just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so as I teased there in the open, we are going to be looking at some Star Wars interlocking covers. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this. I know I enjoyed putting these together because there's some really cool sets out there if you are into collecting that sort of thing. We're going to start off with the small ones. We're going to start off with the 2-cover sets, as I have done the last, well, I only did this once before, I guess. So this is only my second time out doing the interlocking covers, but, right? Or did I do 2? Anyway, I'm going to try to mix these in again, like maybe once a month, every once in a while, that sort of thing, just to kind of get some of these books that I got stuck in my head that I want to share with the rest of you guys out there. So let's get into it with our first book, which is Bounty Hunters. So not that long ago, this was Bounty Hunters 27 and 28 connects with it. So here we go. Boom. Put the two together. Pretty cool. One large image. That's why I love these things. I love it when these are pieces that create a larger picture, once you put them all together. And this is a cheap one. This is not going to be expensive for you. This is, if you want to go and collect this sort of thing, you can go and grab this one for cover price or less. So here you go. This is a special discount type of book, $1 to $4. You can find copies selling for out there. So not an expensive one if you want to go and shopping for it. But when I did look for sets, it may be easier to build this out, grabbing these separately, but sets listed, I did find one. They want 12 bucks. So, all right, it's 12 bucks with $6 shipping. So I don't know if I really want to go that far, but if you want it, there you go. That's what it'll run you. Now, the next set is going to be a tougher one for you to go and find. While one of the covers is easier to find, the next is tough. And the reason why is because these are GameStop exclusives. Remember when GameStop actually had comics for a while? That's going to make this one a little tougher on some of you collectors out there, because you got to get it in the aftermarket. This isn't something you can go and grab at just any shop. Like this, you're going to have to find this in a special place, because these came from GameStop. But Star Wars #4. The first version, which I think was easier to find, you had to qualify with like points. Like there was like for GameStop points, you could trade them in to get comics. I think that's what the deal was. This was the lower cost one, the Star Wars, the hero side of things, but then they matched it up with the villains on the other side. So you got the Rebels, and then you got the Empire on the other side. So still pretty cool when you put this thing together. As far, I think, you got Vader and you got Obi-Wan, you got Boba, like pretty cool cover. I like it. I think this is an Art Adams, if I'm not mistaken, which is also a nice little thing. This thing sells okay as far as sets go. You can see here that the villains cover sells for a bit more. Best offer on 50 bucks. So that one's a little bit more expensive, whereas the individually, the Star Wars, the good guy side of things could be like 15 bucks. And look, that one even sold for 15 bucks graded. Granted, it's only 9.0, but still, people had to pay that slab fee to get that book graded. Cost more than 15 bucks. So somebody got a deal there. But that said, asking prices on this, well, a little bit tougher. Asking prices, we're looking at, maybe, like I said, $10 to $15 for the good guys side of things. But if you want the Empire side of things, it could be up to $80. And then you can also see somebody, there's one person out there who has a set of both, $60 or best offer if you want the two together. So just give you a kind of broad strokes, kind of idea what you're talking about. Prices are all over the place for this. You can see hero side is much cheaper than the villain side. So just know that if you're trying to build this two cover set. Okay, those are our two cover sets. We're going to go shift on now and kind of grow this thing out. We're going to, as you've watched this before, or if you haven't, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with bigger sets as we roll on. We're going to go with the larger sets. So now we're going to go up to 3. And we're going to start in with Star Wars #1, which connects to some of the other books that were released right at the outset. In 2015, Marvel got back Star Wars. They didn't only give us Star Wars, they also gave us Vader and Princess Leia. And with it, tons of copies and tons of covers. These in particular are 1 in 50s. These are all 3 1 in 50 sets by J. Scott Campbell, and they're out there. They're out there. Mind you, Star Wars #1 as a whole was what I think they sold at least 1 million copies. It's like one of the first books to sell over 1 million, and I think it's more than 1 million. But one of the first books to sell over 1 million copies since like the 90s. So keep that in mind as well. Star Wars 1 is not a tough to find book. So incentives should be out there, but these are all 1 in 50s. Vader 1, Star Wars 1, Princess Leia #1, and Princess Leia was only a 5-issue mini. Vader I think ran 25 issues, and that original Star Wars run ran all the way to 75 before they restarted. That said, these can be pricey. Prices again are a little inconsistent. You can see here as broad strokes examples. Individually, these are around 40 to 50 bucks. So right around ratio, maybe a little bit less. But, and then when we look at the asking prices, they can be right around that too, where they're all right around that ratio mark. So once again, just because it's a 1 in 50 doesn't mean it's impossible to find. It just might be a little expensive, and you might got to pay that ratio price at this point. I mean, 2015 now is 8 years ago, so these things are only going to keep aging. But those are the asks, all about 50 bucks a piece. So keep that in mind if you're out there shopping. If you don't want to pay that kind of price and you want to build out a set of these same books, albeit in a different order, we can do that because our buddy Scotty Young, another fan favorite like Campbell, also gave us a connecting cover set with these same books. So we had Star Wars 1, Scotty Young cover, not an incentive ratio. These were just variants, but they flip-flop Vader and Princess Leia for this one. So they're on the other sides. But still, all 3 come together to form one larger image. So you can get 3 Scotty Young cover sets and build this thing out for a little bit cheaper than those 1 in 50s. How much cheaper? Well, $6 to $10. The Vader could run you up to 20. Those are recent sales. So cheap as $5 up to maybe 20 bucks a piece. Asking prices. Let me see. Did I find any sets together? No sets, but I did find individually some copies looking for like $20, $25. So could still be a little pricey considering these are just variants, but not incentive variants. But considering how many copies were ordered by shops, they could only order so many of each cover. And Liza, believe me, there are so many covers for at least Star Wars 1. There's so many covers. So many. There's store exclusives, etc. So many covers. But those I think are still pretty cool. So if you can build that set out, good luck. Here's an easy set for you to get. We're going to go back to and show you another one. This is a more recent set. Easy to find. This is Star Wars #10 from the current run of Star Wars. I think this is when it started in 2022. So volume, 3, I guess. But Star Wars... Well, why am I showing you 10? Oh, I'm sorry. It's 9, 10, and 11. I showed you in the middle one because that's how I built the thing out. But 9, 10, and 11, as you can see, and these are just the cover A's. These are the regular covers. You might not have noticed that when they released them, these 3 all form this larger image. Pretty cool, right? Just cover A's. And since they're cover A's, and since this is recent, these are like our first one, pretty cheap. Cover price or less, $1 to $4 each. You can find these out there. Not going to break your back to go and build this set out if you want it. So, yeah, go ahead. Good luck. Have fun. Let's see. Who else does exclusives? Well, we're going to hit a couple of other stores in here. You guys know I don't normally do store exclusives, but some of this stuff, they do have them. And our first store exclusive is, it's Hastings. So it's more of like a chain. It's not just like some individual shop, but Hastings gave us a Vader down connecting set. So Vader down, number one, there in the middle, we got Vader, but then this also connects with Star Wars and Darth Vader. So we got Star Wars number 13 and Vader number 13. Bookending Vader down in the middle, making one larger image. And remember that 13 got a little bit of heat a while back because of the Black K. Remember when Black K was in Mando, and everybody's like, oh, or no, Book of Boba Fett. Everybody was like, oh, Black K, Black K. We gotta get those early appearances. Well, it did make this book become quite expensive at one time, but it's come down a bit since then, as we'll see here. The whole set. Well, not the whole set, but individually, some of these can run like 10 to 15 bucks now. Just 10 to 15 bucks. Asking prices, well, I did find a set here, which is $45 for the set, which actually isn't that bad because that is like 15 bucks a piece. Because like I remember when Black K was the next big thing, that book I think was selling for like 45, 50 bucks on its own. But here we are a couple years later. How we've forgotten. And now you can get this whole set of Hastings covers for $45. Still, pretty cool set if you look at. I like the image. You got the Death Star in behind and everything. Pretty cool image. All right, I'm going to go a little bit higher now. A little bit higher. I'm going to go with 4, I think, with this next set. Star Wars Allegiance. Again, these are cover A's. If you didn't know at the time, I'm telling you now. If you got the whole miniseries, you got yourself a nice 4-issue set here with issues 1, 2, 3, and 4, building out a nice, sequel trilogy image. I know the sequel trilogy gets a lot of heat, but there was still some good stuff to be had there. And, this is a pretty cool image. I kind of like this. You put this all together, that's a nice little, large picture, right? Not that expensive either on this one. You can see here, whole set selling for like 30 bucks or as cheap as $10 to $13. So depending where you can find it, 10 bucks might get you all 1 through 4. That's $2.50 each. That's not bad at all. That's undercover. Or it could sell as high as 30 bucks for the whole run. Asking prices, $15 to $16 for the whole set. So you're talking cover price. So this is a very affordable set if you wanted to go and collect it. Our next set might be a little pricier because our next set is actually going to be retailer incentives. These are RIs from our friends over at IDW. And I like those IDW 1 in 10s. And most of us weren't aware at the outset that these were connecting. But when Star Wars High Republic Adventures started over at IDW, they had the RIs, the 1 in 10s. Started with the Yoda. Everybody liked the Yoda. But nobody knew, even when we got like the Marchand Row in issue 2, etc. Nobody knew that these actually went together to form one larger image. 1 through 5 made this one connecting image. So that was a fun little thing to learn along the way. So keep an eye out for that. Not a lot of people are going to have this as a set for sale, so you're going to have to go out individually. And for that, you can get some of these as cheap as like $8, like $5 to $10, and then you might have to pay a little more for that number 2, which you can see there, one at auction for like $31, just because of the like the Marchand Row and the the Niall and all that stuff. Asking prices again, you can see here pretty close to those sales where copies can be like 10 to 15. You can see individually or as high as $65. These are all 1 in 10s, so keep that in mind as well. So $10 isn't crazy, but 65 might be a little steep. But see what you can find if you're out there shopping. Because, again, this is kind of a fun little set you can put together. Plus, it's the first 5 issues. Get yourself a nice little story arc as well. Up next, we are really going to hit some stores. Actually, not stores. We're going to hit Mile High. Because Mile High did some pretty cool connecting covers for Star Wars, if you weren't aware. And some of these are pretty tough to build out. So we could have done some of these things even for Chasing Ghosts, but I don't like to do the whole store thing. I don't like to, because I'm not here. I don't work. I'm not, promoted or support. I'm not doing advertising for stores. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to talk about comics. And up next, we do have some comics that do come from a store. So I'm going to point it out. This is a Mile High exclusive. It is right there on the cover. And it is pretty cool, especially when you see this whole thing. I wasn't aware of this when it came out, but Star Wars, the Screaming Citadel story. It's a 5-part story. They got a pretty cool 5 cover connecting set here. I don't know. This looks pretty cool to me. You got Afra in there. And then on Afra, you got Princess Leia for whatever reason. And then you got a pretty wild looking Black K Han, right there in action. I don't know. This is a pretty cool image when you put it all together, if you ask me. But not an easy thing to go and find. Not an easy thing to go and find. Matter of fact, I didn't even go dig that deep into it because once I started looking into even just some of the individual issues, all I could find were like graded copies. And you can see here, like that Star Wars number 31, which has Afro on the cover. I mean, look, $175 for a 9.8 graded, and then there was like a 9.4 that took a best offer on $70, but still definitely not cheap. And then asking prices for some of these. Look at that number one, asking $50 to $60. Granted, Mile High still has copies. I think they were limited to like 3,000. I think that's if you go to the Mile High site, they tell you, and they're selling their own copies. That's what they're looking for right now, $50 to $60. So it is what it is. If you want to build out a set, it's probably going to cost you. But this is for that Citadel. But this is not where they started with these connecting covers. They started at the beginning. So let's go back to the beginning. Why am I doing this so late in the run? The reason why I'm doing this so late in the show is because while we did Star Wars 1 already with those 3 cover sets, these are bigger than that. So that's why they're coming a little bit later. As this pretty cool Boba Fett, Mile High, Star Wars 1. This is Humberto Ramos. Did all of these. 6 covers. Boom. 6 cover set. Pretty fun. It actually goes Boba to Vader to the Emperor, and then back down to Han and Chewie, Leia, and Luke for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like it goes kind of reverse than normal. Normally you would go left to right, but these go right to left for whatever reason. As far as building out the set goes, don't know why they made that call, but they did. Maybe it's just how they had wanted to play it out. They wanted to release Boba Fett instead of releasing the Emperor first. I don't know. Maybe that's why they did it. But that said, this set ain't cheap. Granted, this one sale for the whole set that I found, these are all 9/8s. So $600 for all 9/8s. That's a pretty impressive set. That's $100 $100 a book. Pretty cool. Asking prices though, if you try to build one of these out, well, it could be pricey because here are some sets. I just put those sets listed. I didn't go out for the individuals, but sets. $400, $500, $600. 2 of them are Mile High. Try to sell you sets, but one of them is not. Just so you know. Then they did it again. So Mile High did 1 through 6. Huge, big image all together. They did it again with issues 7 through 12. This time, we went with ships. Also, pretty cool when you show this all together. Granted, the A-Wing's not the coolest ship in the world, but it's a part of a larger whole. And you put all these together with that Death Star in the background, it does create a pretty cool image altogether. So, you got your Y-Wing, or your, what do you call it? Your B-Wings, your Millennium Falcons, your Star Destroyers, X-Wing, and your TIE Fighter. Pretty cool stuff. I don't know. Once again, not cheap. I mean, they are, like I said, 8 years old now. Did find an individual $125 sale for number 12, just as a random example. Again, there's not a lot of movement on these books. There's not a lot of copies available. So most of them you might have to go and try to pry away from Mile High directly. And as you saw, they're not giving you a bargain. So keep that in mind as well. Somebody does have a set listed, and it is Mile High, and it's $400 for this set. So 400 bills if you want all 6 covers. Maybe it's a little cheaper if you buy it direct from their site because maybe you don't have to pay eBay fees, but probably not. And probably not by much. But hey, if you're interested, there you go. And granted, these are not all of the connecting cover Star Wars because there's a lot out there. I just trying to give us a little bit of a chunk to get us a taste and a little bit to kind of have some fun and give you some books that you weren't that aware of. Maybe you didn't know about these Mile High connectings. Now you do. So it's just something to be mindful of, something you keep an eye out for. But next, this is probably going to be the largest set that I do on this. As far as it goes, I do have a few huge mega sets listed. I mean, we did Mega Man, that, what was it, 12 issue cover set. I do have a couple 12 issue cover sets. I got a 20, but we have another one here. This one is a huge one. So without further ado, I'm going to give you this in pieces before we get to the whole. And I'm not going to give you pricing information on these because, well, I just, quite frankly, didn't have the time to go and grab it. Plus, a lot of these are not expensive books. The random ones that are expensive, they're expensive for different reasons. But Most of these are not expensive. So we're going to get into it here, starting off with Star Wars Age of the Republic. Not that long ago, Star Wars books gave us these these one shots. There's a series of one shots. They gave us a pile of one shots for Age of the Republic, Age of the Rebellion, and Age of the Resistance. Little did we know that there were B covers mixed in here that made something even bigger. So here we go. So you got Qui-Gon specials, Darth Maul's one-shot special, and Obi-Wan's one-shot special for Age of the Republic B covers. You could you can find these things. They're not, most of these are not expensive at all. So you might be able to build this relatively cheap, but it's a lot of work. So here we go. There's a chunk. Age of the Republic continues. You got Jango Fett, the regular Age of the Republic special, and Anakin. That one in the middle could be a little pricier because of Ventress. She does have another cover as well. The Koi Fam one, awesome cover. That one could be a little more pricey than the rest, so keep that in mind. But most of these are like cover price or less. Maybe even dollar bin material if you could find them. But no, we're still in the Age of the Republic, and we have another pile of Age of the Republic for you. Another chunk of 3. Dooku, Amidala, and General Grievous. Boom. You see how these connect together. But it forms a larger, even larger whole. Can't give you that yet. Because next we're going to the Age of the Rebellion. Grand Moff Tarkin, you got Princess Leia, the Age of the Rebellion special. You got some IG-88 action there. Pretty cool. Another set of 3 here. You can see how these go together. You got Han Solo, you got Luke, you got Lando. And then we got even more for you as we've got some of the bad guys side. We got Jabba, we got Boba, we got Vader. Boom. You can see these go together. But these are still just pieces of a much, much larger whole. Because we still have Age of the Resistance, this sequel trilogy to get into with Finn and Phasma and the Resistance special with Maz there on the front. And then we've got Rey, we've got Poe, we've got Rose get her own special. Still not done, as we've got Hux and Snoke and Kylo Ren all getting their shot, their one-shot love. Most of these books have multiple covers as well. Incentives, as you know, incentives too. So keep that in mind as well. Some of these are kind of tough with the incentives go because some of them are pretty high ratio incentives. We'll get to that another time. But these B cover regular variants all form, if you guys have counted, a huge 27 cover set. Yeah, it's still going. It's still going. Granted, I know my buddy Ben C, he also has these Turkish editions that are versions of this, and if you put those together, you get to see a nice clean image of this whole thing. But there are Turkish books. You got to be into that kind of thing, unless you just like the art. So keep that in mind if you're curious. But that's what these all go together to form. So 27 one shots. Put them all together. You get a huge mural, this huge puzzle set that's just worthy of a mega set. And that's what I got for you. Again, I didn't give you pricing on this one because, look, this is a crazy huge set. I wasn't going to go through the whole rigmarole. And unlike the Mega Man set, which is very pricey, the last one of these big sets, like I said, most of these are not that expensive. This is just going to be a hassle to go and find 27 different comics to put this one together if you wanted to do so. So up to you. If you have it, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Take a picture. Show it. See if you can get like on the top of a ladder. Maybe take a picture from your roof and take a picture of all the comics in your driveway. Because I don't know how else you're going to fit all these comics into one image to take a picture other than that. But that said, thanks for stopping by and checking this out. I appreciate all the support. Appreciate you checking out my shows. Hopefully you're still enjoying this. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And yeah, I'll be back with Hidden Gems again next week. We'll do a different topic. Maybe we'll go back to the regular mix of categories. Or maybe we'll have another special. Maybe we'll do homages again. I don't know. I really go fly by the seat of my pants with this. I just go with what's interesting me at the moment and what I feel like doing. Because, again, this is my hobby. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. So I'm just going to do the things that I'm enjoying. And hopefully you're enjoying going along this ride as well. And with that, I'll see you guys later with some more content. All right. Bye.